Finally, Season 4 is here, and there has been a lot of weapon tuning that's going to shake up the meta, so I'm going to be giving you the top 5 best loadouts that you want to be using after the Season 4 update. Real quick, if you guys are brand new and you want to find your way back to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe. We do upload each and every single day. After you guys subscribe, ring the little bell icon, you'll be notified the next time I upload. Drop a big fat like, it really does help out. Without further ado, here is loadout number 1. So first we got the STG. Now here is what they did to it. They did nerf it just a tad bit, but it's still gonna be very, very good. And I think it's still gonna dominate the meta for the most part. So for the first attachment, you're gonna wanna throw on the MX silencer. You get sound suppression, you're off the radar, enemies don't know where you're at. You get the vertical and horizontal recoil control, making the weapon a lot more accurate. You get damage range, so it makes your STG stay strong at long range gunfights. For the barrel, I have on the VDD 760, highly accurate and controllable. This is what makes it like an absolute laser beam. We got more damage range, bullet velocity. We're just building this thing up to be a long range beast. For the optic, there's 2 ways of going. The G16 is really popular, but what I really like is the SVT scope, just because you're able to zoom in and take on gunfights from very far range and be accurate doing so. So I'm gonna throw on the SVT. For the stock, I have on the VDD 34S weighted. With this, you get accuracy, flinch resistance, recoil control, aiming stability. You just get everything above the sun. It's great. Next, for the underbarrel, I like to throw on the M1941 hand stop. It's got to be the best underbarrel for the Vanguard weapons, you know what I mean? At this point, with all these recoil control attachments, our weapon is just not going to move. Literally no recoil. For the magazine, I'd love to run the Gorenko 50 round just because you get an increase in fire rate. Faster time to kill, it's absolutely amazing. And then you also get a little bit of mobility with the ADS and movement speed. So you have everything. You got recoil control, power, and mobility, which that's all you really need when building a weapon setup. For the ammunition, we got lengthen. That's what you use in all your long-range Vanguard weapons. For the rear grip, I got polymer. Therefore, anytime an enemy shoots me, my weapon is to go flying in the sky. And then my 2 perks, I have on vital because the increase in health that took place probably like a month ago now, and it just makes my weapon a lot stronger. And then perk 2, I got fully loaded to start with maximum ammo. And there you have it, man. There's the STG build. Very, very simple and basic. You can continue to use the same one. They didn't really mess too many of the attachments up. And moving on, loadout number 2. Surprisingly enough, the H4 Blixen is on our top 5. They did nerf it quite a bit, but a lot of it was mobility. So this thing's still gonna hit really, really hard, and you shouldn't have any issues continuing to use the H4 Blixen. So for the first attachment, I love to run the recoil booster for the increase in fire rate, because the fire rate at default is very, very slow. So the TTK is not gonna be the best. You're gonna need it. For the barrel, I love the Johnson 9 RMK. With this, you also get a muzzle velocity increase. So surprisingly enough, they literally buffed the best barrel on this weapon. So not only do you get the damage and damage range, making the weapon very strong, you also get muzzle velocity, which is awesome. For the optic, I think the best one here is the slate reflector. The iron sights aren't the best, so you're gonna need to run some type of optic, and my personal favorite is slate. For the stock, I love to run the Bergstrom MB just because you get a massive increase in mobility, which is the ADS and movement speed. So you're just incredibly light on your feet, which I love. For the underbarrel, like I said, man, best underbarrel. M1941 hand stop. You can just control your weapon a lot more easily. For the magazine, now this is just personal preference, especially after they nerfed the 54 round, the 36 Gorenko, man. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but you just get an increase in torso damage, so it makes your weapon very, very strong. You get the ADS speed, recoil control. I just personally prefer this, especially after the nerf on the 54. So that's just me. Give it a go. Go play a few games. Don't knock it till you try it. I gotta let you all know about that. For the ammunition, I love to do hollow point. So you get limb damage with hollow point, and then an increase in torso damage with the magazine, so you guys can see just how quickly this thing kills when you have both of those on. For the rear grip, I have on fabric just for another increase in mobility. I just want to feel as light on my feet as I possibly can because it is my secondary weapon after all. And then my 2 perks, I have on fleet. I mean, you guys know, movement. Perk 2, quick, movement. And there you have it, man. There is the H4 Blixen setup that I personally use all the time. And it's still the best SMG. Moving on, loadout number 3. We got the NZ41. Now, this thing is still an absolute beast and maybe even better than it already was. And we're gonna get into why. So for the first attachment on the NZ, you're gonna wanna do the MX silencer. It's going to be a very similar build to our STG, so just keep that in mind. We get the same things as the MX silencer gives on the STG: sound suppression, horizontal and vertical recoil control, and damage range. We're just building this thing up to be a long-range monster. For the barrel, you're going to want to do the Orb Weaver 360. So they were supposed to buff the bullet velocity in the Season 3 Reloaded. It said in the patch notes that they did, but it didn't go live until now. So now you have that increase in bullet velocity, and that was my issue with this weapon all along. So this is going to be the best barrel option after the MK1 burst nerf. Gotta rock the third. Optic, G16, or you could do the SVT. For some reason, I feel like visually there's less recoil with the G16 scope, and you also get recoil control using it, so we're gonna go with that. The stock, I love to rock the Orb Weaver E-Pack. Any type of little stutter recoil you get, it kind of just disappears with this, just because you get the flinch resistance, recoil recovery, recoil control. You get everything you need. So I think the Orb Weaver E-Pack is your best option out of the 6 there is for stocks. The underbarrel, there's 2 options here you can go with. I personally like to rock the hand stop. I mean, it's just something I'm always using. Or you could do the carver. I feel like it gives you just a little bit better recoil control, but I just go with the hand stop. I feel like the ADS is a little chalked, and making it worse is not going to help me in the long run. For the magazine, I like to rock the Sakura 50 round because you get an increase in fire rate alongside with the recoil control and accuracy. So not only are you gonna be able to kill quicker, your weapon's also gonna be very, very accurate. And this is the biggest magazine. I think you're gonna need it. I know I do, so make sure you have on the 50 round. Ammunition type, lengthened, just like we had on our STG. Rear grip, same as the STG. Polymer, they did nerf a little bit. If you ain't vibing with it no more, you could do stippled. I think both are really, really good options on long-range weapons on the Vanguard side. And then my 2 perks, I have on brace for initial fire and recoil. Basically, just make them up and more accurate when I first start shooting it. And then perk 2, I got fully loaded, start with maximum ammo. There's the NZ, STG, NZ. I think those are the 2 best long-range options as of now. Moving on, loadout number 4. Believe it or not, man, they buffed the MAC 10. So I had a third in here. It's just one of those OG weapons that it's brought back, man. I don't know what made them buff it, but here's the build you want to rock on it. So starting off with the muzzle, we got agency suppressor. You get sound suppression, you're off the radar. Vertical recoil control, make your weapon just a little bit more accurate. You get the bullet velocity and effective damage range, so this thing's a little bit better at those longer range engagements. For the barrel, I love to do task force because, for one, you get the strafe speed, which is great. So you move side to side quickly, making it harder for the enemies to get their shots on you. And you get bullet velocity and damage range, making this thing just that much more stronger. We're definitely going to need it because this is a hit marker machine without the agency suppressor and the task force barrel. For the laser, I love to do Tiger Team Spotlight because you get a massive increase in mobility. I love feeling incredibly light on my feet when I'm using my secondary weapon, and that's exactly what you get. For my stock, there's 2 ways of going. I always flip-flop. I ain't gonna cap. We got the combat stock, which gives you a lot more strafing, and then the Raider stock gives you sprint to fire speed. So I'm gonna go to combat because I really, really love the strafe speed on some of these colder weapons. And I mean, we almost have the max mobility build on this thing, which is unbelievable. And then finally, you're gonna want to increase your magazine size with the final attachment and do the Stanig 53 round drum. So you can do the 53 fast, but you do lose quite a bit of ADS speed, which I think is already bad enough. So just reload a little slower and save that ADS speed. There you have it, man. There's the MAC 10 build. I'm telling you, man, this thing might be back after the buff. Anyways, moving on, finally, loadout number 5. Now, this was a hard one, but I went with the Armaguerra. So this thing did receive quite a bit of nerfs, but it did receive a bunch of key buffs that made me want to put it in the top 5. So here's what you want to use on it. First attachment, you're going to want to do the recoil booster. Just heads up, it will be a similar build to our H4 Blixen just because the attachments are so similar. Recoil booster with this, increased fire rate, faster time to kill, like I stated already. We got the body 315 mm barrel, less fall off damage at long range. You get damage, bullet velocity. If you're not using this barrel, I promise you right now, you are missing out because this is what makes the Armaguerra so strong and good. For the optic, I think the best option here is the slate reflector, just like we had on our H4 Blixen. The stock, I love to do the Emerdo. Did I say that right? I hope so. TA skeletal. With this, you get aim walking, movement speed, initial firing recoil, ADS, so you get to strafe quicker. You get to lock on enemies a little faster with the ADS. Your weapons more accurate. A little bit of everything. I don't know how you could hate on the stock and choose something else. For the underbarrel, we got the M1941 hand stop. After increasing our fire rate with the recoil boost, our weapon will be a little harder to control. M1941 hand stop, it got you back. For the magazine, I love the 60 round. It's so basic. You don't get extra damage. You don't really need any of that with the Armaguerra. The 60 round's great. You can take out multiple enemies without having to reload, which is awesome. And you know, it's just the basic mag. It's great. Moving on, ammunition. I love to run lengthened instead of hollow point because I find myself engaging in medium range gunfights because that less fall off damage barrel, more damage. This thing is kind of like a really good sniper support. So throwing on lengthened just makes it that much better. For my rear grip, I think grooved is the move, man. Wow, that shit rhymed. we get aim walking movement speed, so not only do we get that with the stock, but we get it with this. You are flying at this point. It is awesome. And then finally, my 2 perks I had on were hard scope for recoil control, and then perk 2 I had on quick to feel a lot lighter on my feet. And there is my Armaguerra build. If any of you guys are interested in perks, I'm just going to tell you what I use and try them out for yourselves. And let me know what you think. So first, I got double time. I love feeling incredibly light on my feet. Probably should be running quick fix. I always run overkill so I can have, you know, 2 primaries, which is great. And the perk 3 is always amped. I love sloppy weapons very, very quick. I honestly wouldn't change it for anything. Why do I have combat scout? Don't ask. I don't know. And then my lethal and tactical, I don't run claymores or heartbeats. I don't know why that's on either. Throwing knife to finish the kills, stims to get out of sticky situations. There you have it, man. Let me know what weapons did I miss in this top 5 that I should include in my next one. What weapons are you guys rocking here in season 4? And that's pretty much it, man. I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's upload. You guys all stay safe. Have a great day. And I'm out. A peace.